Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We're giving you some of the best of Later with Mo Kelly to set off your Memorial Day weekend on KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And this next story is specifically an intervention to protect and save the life of Mark Rauner, who has been known to give a Rauner or two or four to people who may cut him off, who may wrong him in some way on the highways of Southern California.
I see where this is going now. And
do you?
Try to imagine my gratitude. Please proceed.
There was a woman who was arrested, I want to say yesterday morning around 8:15. Arrested about 5 p.m. yesterday. And the incident happened about 8:15 a few days ago, where a 24-year-old woman from San Bernardino County, now in custody, accused of attempted murder because of a road rage incident. What happened is she was traveling westbound on the 10 freeway east of Riverside Avenue in the San Bernardino area. A motorist in a gray Nissan Rogue, now identified as Loma Linda resident Angeline Marie Gable, was reportedly angered over a lane change when she pulled alongside the victim, the driver of a black 2024 Honda Civic. Authorities say that Gable pulled out a Glock handgun and fired several rounds at the Honda, striking it numerous times.
Whoa, that's just rude.
Over a lane change, Mark. And here's something else which is very important. The Office of Criminal Investigations Emergency Notification and Tactical Alert Center, which is in Sacramento, provided real-time investigatory assistance and discovered a flock safety camera had captured an image of the suspect vehicle, meaning they were able to track this car as it drove around the city, and they later arrested the would-be assailant later that day at around 5 p.m. just from the flock system camera. So there are two lessons here, Mark Rauner.
Yes.
Be careful giving out Rauners because someone may shoot you.
And what is a Rauner again?
Rauner is when you flip them the bird.
So there's already a name for that. We don't need to give it my name.
But when you're listening to Later with Mo Kelly, it has the context of you and you driving. So we're going to call it a Rauner for the sake of this conversation.
Yeah, I gave a guy in a big truck a thorough Raunering over the weekend who is one of those things where there's 3 lanes, and I'm in the middle lane. He could see that there were cars parked in the right lane coming up, so he tried to jag in front of me and cut me off and get into my lane instead of just slipping in behind me like a polite, normal human being.
Right.
He got the panoramic Rauner.
And you may have been justified in doing it, but is it worth being shot at?
I'd prefer not to be shot at. You're correct about that.
But you may lose control of the situation after you Rauner someone, and they may try to, pop a cap in your ass. And I don't want that to happen.
No, and I appreciate that. I can feel the love emanating from you. I never get out of the car. It's just a polite little raised finger when somebody does something egregious. The finger is never as impolite as the behavior that inspired the finger.
That may be true. We can argue that point, but I would not say that a middle finger is polite. There are varying degrees of impoliteness.
Well, I
wouldn't call it polite.
Well, I don't have the means to write them a letter and hand it to them like, kind sir, are you aware that you did something obnoxious and dangerous just then? Just letting you know. Thanks, have a nice day. No, the finger is shorthand for all of that.
Can't you just throw up both your hands like saying, what the hell, dude?
Well, that's kind of an earlier version of the finger. Yeah, like if somebody cuts in front of you and then slows down, that's a what the hell, dude.
Okay, going back to the story, I'm quite sure the woman who cut off the would-be gun woman probably was wrong as far as the rules of the road. I'm going to give the attempted murderer, because she's charged with attempted murder, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that this Civic actually did cut her off. But is it worth it to risk your life? Is it?
Well, you don't want to blame the victim first and foremost.
Who's the victim in this story?
Well, in what you're trying to do is blame me, and I'm always the victim.
Well, no, but I'm saying, okay, the person who got cut off in this story responded with a gun. So is that person the victim in this story?
Well, I don't carry a gun.
No, but you carry a runner. I'm saying
Everybody
you're a
does.
victim.
Everybody
but my
does.
point is you characterize yourself as a victim because of what was done to you.
You, Mo, Tawala, Foosh, we're all carrying unloaded Ronners at all times. It's a weapon of peace. It's a non-lethal weapon.
Yeah, but see, Mark, and the reason I no longer unleash fiery runners on the road
Yes.
is because of the wisdom, believe it or not, of my daughter, who said to me, Daddy, you may want to issue that runner in
Your
anger.
daughter does not say that.
That issue that runner in anger, but you don't know if the person receiving that runner is crazy. And crazy beats angry every time.
Yeah.
Daddy, keep those runners holstered.
Yeah, I got to agree with that.
I don't think your daughter would appreciate you putting false words into her mouth like that. You are
She
misquoting.
knows what a runner is.
She doesn't call the middle finger by the name of your coworker.
But-
I know this.
But she has said the difference between mad and angry, and someone who's angry is not thinking straight, and they're probably more committed to the escalation than you are. You probably are intending to runner and move on with your day, where that crazy person, going back to the story, obviously had a gun available in the car, loaded. Glock didn't probably have a safety on it, and was ready and looking for a reason to use it on someone.
Well, there's going to be crazy people any place that you go. And if somebody does something rude and you give them a gesture that indicates that they were being rude, and then they pull out a piece, that's compounding the rudeness. You understand that, right?
It doesn't matter if you're dead, though. You could be right and dead.
I would prefer to be right and alive.
Okay,
I
then
think we can agree on that.
We're making progress here.
Yeah.
So I would rather you err on the side of caution and not put yourself in a situation where the choice to continue to live has been taken away from you.
Okay, so for me and the people listening in their cars right now who overwhelmingly agree with me, what would
Did you do a straw poll?
What would you tell them to do in place of the runner?
Keep on driving.
I would say if you can keep your hands at 10 and 12, you don't have to remove either hand for a panoramic, for a thrusting, a gyrating, or an out the window runner.
What about a crank it into the open position one, like in Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, because that's not taken as fun and playful on the road. In a film, it's fine. But, in real life, that's almost more insightful. That's even more reason for me to come after you, because now you're clowning with your honor.
But don't you think people know when they've done something terrible and rude and unsafe?
Yes, I'm quite sure when this person pulled the gun and started dumping, they thought it was rude and unsafe. They didn't care, and that's my point.
Well, they deserve an extra honoring for that.
All right, then, but you can't with a bullet in your head. I'm trying to protect you from you, Mark. I want you to live, Mark. You're my brother. I love you.
I didn't expect to cry coming into work today.
I said
you're going to make that happen.
This is an intervention because there is someone listening right now who, like you, has no reservations about giving someone a runner.
Well, it is important to stand up to bullies and wrongdoers. You understand that, Mo?
Yes, and most bullies don't actually want to fight. That's why they'll shoot from another car. That's my point. A person who's going to shoot is not trying to pull over and go head up with you. You and I have been in scraps before, all right? A person's going to shoot you is not trying to fight you.
Well, maybe I should get one of them their Teslas. Aren't those supposed to be bulletproof? The cyber those swastika cars, whatever you call them?
can't trust those things.
The panels fall off. How they're not going to stop a bullet.
Oh, okay. There's no bulletproof cars?
There probably are, but you don't drive one of them.
No, not currently.
Nor could you probably be able to afford it.
Well, if you want to get that personal, I don't know if any of us
This
could here.
is personal. That's the whole point. We're trying to keep you alive. And actually, the serious point of this conversation is
Yeah.
it's not worth escalating the situation. I know every single day someone makes me angry, and I'm not going to stare them down. I'm not going to do some aggressive maneuver and cut them off, and I'm not going to brake check them if I happen to be in front of them. It's not worth it. Will I calm down eventually? Yes. Am I angry in the moment? Absolutely. But this is a perfect example of wrong place, wrong time, because I know I'm angry, and going back to what Tuala's daughter said to him, I don't know if there's dumb and crazy in the other car having nothing to do with my anger.
Of course. I mean, I follow the Apocalypse Now rule, never get out of the boat, never get out of your car for a road rage incident. And I just watched a clip yesterday of a woman, I think it was a woman getting out of her car and trying to approach the next car ahead who had brake checked her or something like that. And a cop stops cold on the other side of the road and gets out and stops her from doing it. And he's like, I got this, okay? You get back in your car.
Yeah, I don't get out of my car anymore.
I say you never should.
And I say anymore because I have been on the other side of that logic.
You know those electronic reader boards where you can program it to have messages that scroll across the screen? I'd like to have one of those for my car.
You can get those. You can put it on right on top of your car.
And hopefully,
like a marquee,
you can program it with a picture of a middle finger, so you can keep your hands on 10 and 2.
Tuala.
Mark, you cannot take the Ronering
digital
to another level.
Roners or analog Roners, they're the same.
No, science marches on. This is you need to embrace the future, Mo.
We tried, Tuala.
We tried.
Sometimes you just got to let family go.
I want to live for you. I want to live for both of you.
I have some addicts in my family, and we couldn't save them. I feel the same way. I'm getting the exact same feeling. Where it's like sometimes you just got to let them go.
So I'm a middle finger junkie. Is that it?
Pretty much. And, I don't want you to encounter someone who has a Glock on the 10 freeway.
Oh, I need a fix right now. Look at this right here. Oh, that felt so good.
You actually Ronnered me in the middle of a freaking show.
Well, it was just to make a point, and now I feel bad about it. I hope we can move on and you can
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
forgive me.
You're listening to some of the best of Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I love me some In-N-Out, even though I almost never eat it anymore. I remember it fondly. I drive past it almost every day, and I wistfully yearn to have another double-double with cheese. Just had to modify my diet. I don't eat red meat all that often, if ever. I mean, it's at most once every other month. It's mostly white meat and just more vegetarian. I mean, I'm trying to think the last time I had red meat. Maybe it was like on the pizza with, no, is that pepperoni? Or
yeah, pepperoni's not
really red meat. Yeah,
it's a different kind of category, kind of.
Almost never then. But when I do, I got to have some In-N-Out. Got some good news, bad news. The good news is we'll probably order some In-N-Out tonight after talking about it. Stefan, you need to find an assistant or somebody who can like go to.
Yeah, we need a food grabber.
Uh-huh. The bad news is, well, In-N-Out is raising some of their prices, at least on their secret menu. According to a memorandum sent out to In-N-Out stores, and it was posted on Reddit, In-N-Out is making some changes. And this change is intended to match the price of the secret menu favorite, the Flying Dutchman. The off-menu item is simply 2 meat patties topped with 2 slices of cheese, no bun and other toppings included. Yeah.
So good.
It's getting better by the sentence. The item is typically priced around $5.50 here in California. Now, if you know anything about the secret menu, you can order the patties and cheese individually, and that will come out to $3.40 if you want to go through all that work. The cost of adding patties and cheese to regular burgers, such as double doubles and 3x3s, will not change. The memo sent by the chain, the franchise chain, claimed that the price increase is due to confusion surrounding the pricing of the items. They're going to be raising the prices on individual slices of meat and cheese. But I've never ordered it that way. I've never ordered individual slices of cheese or an individual patty. I know that's a workaround if you want to save $1 or $2. I get it. It just seems like it's more work.
My landlady orders meat like that from drive-thrus for her dog. I don't know any human who orders food that way.
Oh, lucky dog right about now. I will eat the stuffing out of some In-N-Out right now.
No, make no mistake. Her dog eats better than I do.
Oh, good. Only thing I don't like about In-N-Out are the fries. Seriously, I can leave the fries.
No, you get the fries animal style.
Wait, what's wrong with the fries?
Usually when I get them, they just seem kind of drab and like they've been sitting out for a while.
That's why you get them animal style.
From In-N-Out?
Yeah.
In-N-Out, look, come on. Let's not front like In-N-Out fries are just delicious. They're
Come
not.
on now. Don't
Let's
lie
not
to
front.
me.
They're
Right.
not.
Thank you.
They're not that delicious. But if you get them animal style, then it's fire with all the cheese and the onions and the sauces and all that. Then it's good. But the fries by themselves, I throw those things away.
Yeah, I
You know, it's funny because Neil Saavedra, the Fork Reporter, talks about that. We're so used to more processed fries that since their fries are literally the potatoes, they chop them, throw them in the greaser, and then give them to you. That's why we're not used to them. But yeah, you gotta sauce them up.
You got to sauce them up, and I don't think that they cook them with any hamburger grease.
Oh, no.
But they do like with McDonald's, and that's part of the reason why the McDonald's fries are so good. And also got in trouble because they weren't letting vegans know.
Yeah,
it's like, because you're eating fries and beef juice.
There's always some secret ingredient, like the tears of children or something that you don't want to know that it's
Ooh, that
in
got
there.
dark real quick. We got dark, macabre, morbid. Tears of children. Golly. Woo. Ooh, I don't know how I'm going to come back from that one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail the whole show, but, it's true.
Let's have an honest conversation. Who the hell is going to go get some In-N-Out right now? Anyone?
Man.
Yeah, we need that.
Look, I showed up with foods. I don't know. I'm good.
Well, so did I.
Well,
but all this talk about In-N-Out has changed the trajectory of the show.
I don't know.
really
Fuchs
has.
is the one that let Richie leave.
There's got to be. What about Colin? Is he done with the Dodgers broadcast next door?
He might be done, actually. He might be just doing the post stuff.
Okay, let's find out
Okay.
if we can get him. And how close is he In-N-Out to Waller?
It's far. It's not close.
man.
The nearest one is all the way over there in Birmingham. Near
the media
movie
center?
theater.
Yeah, by IKEA?
Yes, where the line is going to will be off by the time he gets back.
I wonder if we can bribe him somehow.
Let him order as much as he wants. And
Yeah. It's like Uber Eats. You got to pay a delivery fee. I don't mind.
then, fair enough.
Okay, so we're going to end this segment a little bit early so we can
hungry.
talk to Colin,
Yeah.
who runs the board for AM 570 LA Sports, the Dodger broadcast. We're going to see if we can trick him convince him to go get us some In-N-Out food.
This is the best of Later with Mo Kelly, kicking off Memorial Day weekend on KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Yes, I am a firm supporter of corporal punishment. Spankings are legal here in California. Child abuse is not. If you conflate the two or assume that they are the same, then you're just being dishonest. I don't care about your feelings. I'm only talking about the facts, okay? If you consider spanking the same as, I don't know, punching a child in the throat or uppercutting them to their gut, well, you're just being dishonest. I'm not talking about that. But here's what started on Threads. At Mr. Mo Kelly on Threads, MrMokelly. And this is reminiscent of some of the battles that I got into with people on Twitter that Mark Ronner says he loves so much. Well, got a good dose of it today on Threads. There was a post by this person named Rihanna Now Paul or something. And her post was, unpopular opinion, beating your kids is domestic violence. I don't know how that's unpopular, but yes, if you're beating your kids, yes, that would be a form of domestic violence. I don't think anyone would really disagree with that. But my response had a little bit more nuance in it. And to the point, I said, quote, I am A-OK with spanking, and always will be. Anyone who disagrees is welcome to raise their kids however they want. But here's what I firmly believe, that children are not to be rationalized with, as they are emotionally incapable of fully understanding the world. They are to be taught consequences and boundaries before the world does, in the form of prison and or the morgue. And we wonder why kids are out of control today with no respect for people, police, or boundaries. Stay out of my house. Close quote. Y'all can be mad. Y'all can be angry. Y'all can be emotional. You can be irrational. But I was raised in a house in which you didn't talk back. You did not have an opinion. You didn't have a discussion or a debate with an adult. I'll give you an example. My mother told me, maybe when I was 4 years old, it was around 4 or 5. She told me, do not run in the street. Okay, it wasn't about a conversation about the dangers of a car careening around the corner, which may run you down and you may not be able to see the car, or the car may not be able to see you because of your low stature, which may be below the horizon of the driver's dashboard. It wasn't that. It was stay your ass out of the street, or you're going to get a butt whooping. And I got maybe 5 or 6 or so, because I remember we had just moved into the house that my mother lives in to this day, and it was light outside. I think it was in the summer. I had a little time to myself, unsupervised. For some reason, they probably call my mother a bad mother today. And I looked left and looked right, and I didn't see any cars coming. My ball had gone in the street. Why would I not chase after my ball? I didn't know my mother was watching me from the window. And then I ran out into the street, got my ball, got back. Everything was fine. No cars came around the corner. My mother tore out the house and tore my ass up. Why? Because I disobeyed her. It wasn't about whether I could make a case and debate about whether I was mature enough to go out into the street. She didn't have time to try to explain to me how I put myself in danger and could have gotten myself killed, because a car often came around that corner because it was a blind corner. Way too fast, and wouldn't have been able to stop if I happened to be out there. She gave me an order. She gave me a directive. It was not a topic for discussion. And since I disobeyed that order, she whooped my ass. Why? Because she knew as a young child I could better understand wanting to avoid the whooping as opposed to understanding the fullness of the danger of a car coming around the corner. And my parents, both of them, understood it was okay for me to fear them, a healthy fear, because my healthy fear of them was carried with me when I went to school. It carried with me, so there was a limit to the things I would do out there, because I couldn't fundamentally understand what it would mean to get arrested or go to juvie or do something that was so stupid that it might get me killed. And I'll give you something else. And there's a cultural difference here I want to drill down on. It's culturally different for many African-American families and many non-black families, especially in the 1970s. I was growing up with a parent, my father, who grew up in segregated Virginia. My mother, less so, in integrated Detroit. But my father was very conscious of making sure I didn't put myself in a situation where I would have been treated differently and I would have lost control of my own autonomy. I had a gun pulled on me by a police officer when I was 13 years old. I don't know how many people listening can say the same. And they were trying to protect me from a world which may have seen me and reacted to me differently. The foolishness that you see going on now, I definitely could not have participated in back then. Why? Because I probably would have been shot. And my parents didn't have time nor the inclination to explain all the possible scenarios of how I could have done something and then put in a situation where I would have lost my freedom or lost my life. And it was easier for them to say, if you do this, I'm going to whoop your ass. And many times they did. And because they did, they protected me from prison and they protected me from the morgue. And if they didn't, I promise you, I would have been one of them out there smashing and grabbing. I promise you, I would have been one of them out there doing a street takeover. I would have been doing all the things that you supposedly can't stand and complain about on social media. You're probably some of the same people who are reposting and resharing that little girl who was acting up and losing her damn mind in a grocery store. You know why that never happened with me? Because I knew my parents would beat my ass if I did. And they did for less. Not because they were abusing me, but they were protecting me. Because when the police weren't around, I knew that my parents were watching. Or my neighbors were watching. And if I acted up in front of my neighbors would tell my parents, and they would still have consequences waiting for me. The reason I'm talking about this, I am so tired of this permissive society. And I talked in the first segment about how I would say, as far as child rearing goes, I'm probably the most conservative person on this station, bar none. Because I have these conversations with the other hosts, and I know where they stand on certain things. Certain things just not going to fly with me, ever. The reason I wear an undershirt to this day and wear a belt is because my parents drilled it into me. Right now, I'm wearing a white undershirt and I'm wearing a belt because there was expectations as far as how I was going to carry myself outside the house. So I would not be mistaken for a hoodlum, for a thug, or someone who might be engaging in criminal behavior. These are all the things, talking about the cultural differences that African Americans often have to worry about, or also have to instill in kids that other parents do not. It's a different ballgame. So if you don't spank your kids, God bless you. I hope they turn out to be wonderful. I hope they're great. I hope they're very respectful. I hope they're quiet in class. I hope they don't smash and grab. I hope they don't rob anyone. I hope they don't get involved in a knockout game. But that doesn't work for all of them. And I go to grocery stores and I see these kids cussing out their parents. Don't tell me I'm the only one who sees this. I see these kids yelling at their parents, calling them all names in the book. Come here, Timmy. No. F you. No. Come here. No. I don't want to. The first I would have gotten out of my mouth, my mother would have slapped the taste out of my mouth. Oh, that's child abuse. But you're the same folks complaining about what you don't like, what you see. And you say, we need to have tougher laws. No, we need to have more discipline. Because you can't instill discipline by the time they get to be 14 or 15. It has to be 4 or 5. I can tell you about some of the butt whoopings I got 50 years ago that would stay with me today. And tell me and remind me why I'm not supposed to do certain things. Why my ass is not supposed to be in certain places after certain hours. Because not only did it protect me as a child, it protects me as a grown-ass man. Discipline. We don't want to talk about discipline. Because spanking is violent. It's child abuse. I'll remember that the next time you...
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Complain about someone breaking in your house.
Today, we're honoring our nation's heroes on Memorial Day with some of the best of Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I'm not done. I got more to say. I got more to say about your badass kids. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of hearing them. I'm tired of looking at them. I'm tired of them talking back to you. You don't understand. I mean, this is not an act. This is sincere. I see these kids talking back. I see these kids calling their parents by their first name. It's really strange. It's really strange. And whenever my blended sons, whenever they would go out, I told them there's a certain way you can and there's a certain way you cannot dress. There's a certain way you can address adults. There's a certain way you cannot address adults. When you come up here, if you're going to be representing me, you're going to be in a collared shirt. You're not come up here in a T-shirt and shorts. Why? Because you're going to present yourself a certain way. And when you get to be an adult, then you can do whatever you want. But until that time, you can do it my way. That's the way it is. That's the way I was raised. You won't find me, by and large, in a T-shirt. Not at work. Not at work. Because that's the way I carry myself. It is something that was passed down to me, and it will always stay with me. I'm a strict adherent to discipline. Now, I can't beat the kids, can't spank the kids in martial arts, but I can make them do 20 push-ups. I can make them do duck walks. I can make them do bear crawls all around the mat. There has to be some sort of consequences that we have for kids. I don't believe in reasoning with children because they're not responsible for anything. They're not emotionally developed enough to make any life decisions. I'll give you a perfect example. Here we go, Tuala, Mr. Liberal Mo Kelly. I am firmly against kids, whether they are trans or not, changing their name or their pronouns while they are minors. They can't legally change their name until they're 18. So if you're, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful or funny, but if you're 12 or 13 and you want to change your name from Tom to Tina, I got a problem with that, and I don't support that. Because you're not old, you're not even past puberty, and you want to make some life decision, and me as the adult, I'm supposed to respond to that. It's like being in love with someone. You're in love with someone this week, it may be someone next week. Now, you may go through the change, and you may adhere to it for the rest of your life. God bless you. And I mean that sincerely. God bless you. But as a child, there's certain decisions you just don't get to make. You don't. Why? Because you're not responsible for anything that you do. And I am not subject to the whims of a child. And Twala, you said it, and I got to give you credit for it. We live in a society where we have, everyone's getting a damn participation trophy. No one wants to see a child cry, ever, because, you know, it's unfair. It's unfair. F fair. Fair's for 5-year-olds, I think you said.
Yeah, fair is for 5-year-olds, fair is for children, and I cannot stand the leniency upon which a lot of parents ascribe to their children. Parents ascribing almost adulthood to the children is quite possibly one of my most pet of peeves. It is so annoying when I see it happen, when I see the disrespect. And it's interesting because my mother took my children with her to an event. Actually, they went to a couple of different places this weekend. And when she came back, she remarked, oh, my goodness, the kids are so good. They are so sweet. They're so kind. They're just quiet. They're just so polite, just kind.
Well, I know where this is going.
And you know, I said, well, thank you very much. And it's because I know for a fact that my children have seen both me and their mother go left in public, not when we got home, not later, in that moment.
Just like my house. If you mess up in public, you get your butt beat in public.
In public. And they have seen how quickly we can go from 0 to 60 while they were younger, so that now they know better. They know better and not out of fear. We have taught a healthy sense of respect by way of putting pause on them.
You can't do that. There's child abuse. You should never have to use violence to raise your children. You're a bad parent. You're a bad parent. I'm calling Child Protective Services on you.
And you know what? And you and your child can get a trophy for losing. You losers. You are losers, and that is a loser mentality.
There's something else. You can't be a friend to the child. You can't raise a child and be their best friend. I see more and more. It's like, oh, my daughter's my best friend. She shouldn't be. You can't discipline someone and be their buddy. There's a time when you both become adults, you can become friends, but you're going to have to be the parent and steer them away from wrong so they don't end up in jail or pregnant or some life decision that only adults should make and suffering from those decisions because they were ill prepared to deal with the consequences. I talked to all three of my blended boys about sex, hopefully before they lost their virginity, okay? And I was very in-depth about what it means to go into that doctor's office and have that knitting pin put up your member. Because I wanted them to know the consequences of making adult decisions. I couldn't be their friend. I couldn't be their buddy. My job was their protector, to make sure they didn't end up dead or in jail or some sordid combination of both. And I wish more people saw the world as I do. And I know you don't. And I know you're mad. You're saying, Mo, you're just a bad parent. You should go to jail. The whole point is I'm trying to keep some people from going to jail and breaking into your house. We can't keep going in this direction where kids get to decide whatever they want. They get to tell us what they want. They get to decide if they're going to go to school. They get to decide if they're going to go to work. They get to decide if they're going to respect you on a given day. And you allow it. And I think there is a correlation, a causal relationship with how we've been derelict and neglecting how our responsibility, we've abrogated our responsibility as far as putting foot in ass and making sure that these kids at ages 5, 6, and 7 know consequences so the world or some other child doesn't have to teach them when they're 14, 15, 16. And I want you to remember this the next time you see a smash and grab or a street takeover or someone mouthing off to you. Maybe it's your child or mouthing off to some other parent. There is a connection. I knew if I mouthed off to my parents, there were consequences, and the police couldn't save me from them.
You've been listening to the best of Later with Mo Kelly. Never forget the price paid to get the independence we have today. KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No